Here's our sanctuary. We are shooting from our camera right here in our sound booth. We're shooting to the front of the lower stage is 40 feet and to the upper stage is about 46 feet. So, you know, it's doing an amazing job of shooting that far with just a little digital HDMI camera. And so it's pretty incredible. So how we're doing this is we're still doing a live mix through our speakers because we're trying to set up so that when we're all back here meeting together, we're still functioning. So I haven't just set up, well, this will work for now. I've set up, this will work for the future. So we've got our speakers hanging from our ceiling and our beams. You can see below the Canada flag there, below the Alberta flag there. And we just mix on an Allen and Heath GL2400. This is an analog board. And so you can do this, what we're doing in many different ways, and I can run you through and help you with your system. If you've got a digital board, we can figure out a way to do it. There are many ways to skin the cat, but this is how we did it. So this is our analog board, and we of course have everything that comes in, red mic, blue mic, yellow mic, keyboard, keys pad, you know, guitars, the whole 9 yards, everything comes into this board. Now, what we have on our board is what's called direct outs. And you can see here we have our direct outs. Most boards have inserts and your XLRs. That's where your input is for your XLR. Most have a line in and an insert. We also have a direct out. So if you have direct outs, you can literally just patch straight off your board and it'll take that signal and send it to another source, which is what we've done. When that happens, the only thing on our board that affects that direct out is the gain. So we have to make sure our gain staging is done really well, that we actually set our gains right away, get it all set. That affects, of course, this board and everything in this track, but it also affects what's going out to the other system. And so that's the first thing we do is our gain staging. Once we got our gain staging set, then the live sound is good, and so is the live stream. That board comes through on cables across to these two little mixers that I purchased. These are Mackie Mix 12 FX. The reason I chose these little Mackie boards was first the price. They are here in Canada between $150 and $175 Canadian. The other reason I chose this board was because it has effects. One of the things I found when I first started doing the live feed, the first few weeks, was I was trying to patch directly out of an auxiliary, which you can do, and I can talk you through how to do it. But we don't have a sound effects processor in our live mix. We don't have a sound effects processor on this board. And what we found was that the sound coming through to the live feed was very flat. There was no life to it. There was no bounce. Like, as you can hear me, I'm talking in the sanctuary and there's a bounce in the room. And that doesn't come through when you're just pulling something straight through a microphone, straight through a channel and sending it out an aux to a computer. And we were finding that there was no life to it. It was very bland, very lifeless. So I decided that we needed some effects. And a lot of people use reverb and things like that. On this board, we've used a reverb type effect, but we've used what's called warm room. You can see number 4. And if you go to our website or to our YouTube channel and listen to our live feed, you'll hear just what the effects do to the sound. It gives a sense of life, like a sense that it's actually in a room. It sounds more normal, more natural. So that's one of the reasons why I chose these boards. They are great little boards, very cost effective, and they do the job just fine. So each patch comes off the main board, red, blue, yellow, as they were over there. So all these come out of a little main out right there, a left and right, that then come together and go into a headphones type input jack in the back of the computer. Now this is an older Mac Mini, so we actually have an input on like a headphone style jack input on our computer. Many of the new Macs do not. I know PC still does it, but many of the Macs don't have this. So you will need an audio capture device of some kind if you're running with Mac on a newer Mac, and that will just take in a headphone style jack or even a 1/4 inch input. Some of them even have XLR inputs, and it'll process it and give it as an output on a USB or a USB-C. So either way, you'll be able to get your sound into your computer, whether it's through USB or through a headphones jack. We then have our camera, and our camera is actually not an expensive one. It's just a little Canon digital. I'm gonna try to shoot the name here because I can never remember it. It's an Vixia R800 by Canon, and it's really small. As you can see my hand, right? It's a small camera, and that is shooting very easily at 40 something plus feet. And it's got a good optical zoom, and that's what you need in any camera you're purchasing. You need optical zoom, not a digital zoom. Digital zoom will get grainy and poor quality. Optical zoom will give you much better quality. It just comes out on an HDMI mini down to, sorry, I'm coming down a ladder, down to a video capture device. Takes your HDMI, turns it into USB, and you can see it flashing because there's a signal going to the computer, and it literally just goes in to the back of the computer. So both audio and video is on the blue cable, audio is on that little gray cable with the silver end on it, and they both come in and they're processed through what's called Ecamm Live. So that's our camera feed. That's the current feed coming off the camera. I've got it full screen. I can also choose to go to a half screen, which isn't going to do it right now because I don't have ProPresenter on. But if I had ProPresenter on, this would actually split the screen half to the camera and half to ProPresenter. So you could have the picture on one side and the lyrics on the other, or you can go picture in picture. So this is where you can make scenes. Ecamm Live only works on Mac, so if you're a PC, you're gonna have to find a different software to do your streaming, to do your broadcasting. Here we just broadcast only to YouTube, but you can choose to go to a bunch of other choices, or you can go to Restream, and in Restream you can set up how many different places you want to send your stream to. We choose just to use YouTube. I didn't want to pay for another service like Restream. We're quite happy just going to YouTube. Over here when it's live, this is your chat, so everybody that's chatting online will show up here, so you can actually communicate with people and you can moderate directly from this computer. This is where my sound input comes in, so it'll tell me my sound input volume and where I'm at, and I can control my levels to make sure it sounds good. So it's really not too difficult, guys. We had to buy a camera, which cost us 300 Canadian. We had to buy a video capture device, which was just over 100 bucks. We had to buy 2 of these we paid 150 at the time for them. They've gone up since, and a couple of cables, and that was it. It was not a crazy process. We've slowly added things like another set of headphones to it, and different things. So overall, with our taxes and the purchases and everything like that, it came out to just a little over $1,000 for everything that we have set up here. And then we've of course got our Ecamm Live yearly subscription. And so, yeah, it's a pretty easy setup to get a half decent sound. And depending on whether you're using analog or digital, will depend on how you set things up. Because we're analog, I had to choose little mixers that have sound effects. If you're digital, lots of times your digital board already has sound effects in it. So, yeah, I will be willing to work with any of you that would like to chat about this, but this is how we have set up our church's live stream. I hope it helps. God bless.